All right, guys. So we're here again for another talk with me and Rob here at Flex Level. We're going to talk about that clients are lying to you, okay, or
misrepresenting themselves,
misrepresenting their reports,
underreporting.
Okay, so one thing that I really wanted to get to talk about is that. In the community right now, the way everything has shifted in the past 15 years that I've been a part of the fitness industry is online clients. Okay, I'm sorry, online coaches.
Okay.
And though that makes for so much more opportunity. I mean, just right now, there's so much opportunity for everything. Okay, just everything. But as far as the coaching aspect is, everyone seems to have gotten away from. Especially anybody who actually takes a passion into fitness and education, kind of gets away from the commercial gym of like a 24-hour fitness, LA Fitness, Blast, whatever you want to call it, even the privately owned gyms. Okay, but here we still are a privately owned gym. We have a membership base. We have a personal trainer area, cardio room, 10,000 square feet. So. We actually get to interact with our clients face to face. I actually don't really do that many online coaching, but everyone who's passionate about the actual evidence-based part of nutrition seems to be online coaches, and I feel like they're missing a disconnect with their clients as far as how do I interact with you on an email compared to what happens whenever I see you face to face.
Right.
How do I see your mannerisms?
So there's a disconnection, is what you're saying, like
Totally.
From seeing a person face to face, a client face to face, being able to do some evaluation, just visual evaluation.
Yes.
And then having them online, sending you their numbers or their progress.
Yes.
From that point.
I just want to dig right into one of the main biggest flaws that I see, as opposed to you emailing the client, how are you doing this week? They say, great. I say, okay, great. So we're back, we're still on track. Let's check in next couple weeks. And or I'm not losing any weight. What do you think I should do? Do you think we should drop my numbers? At which point the coach says, okay, how about this? Give me another week. Let's see if maybe some weight fluctuations, hormonal things going on, maybe if it's menstrual cycle, stress, GI problems.
Which are all appropriate, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the case may be.
Sure, yeah.
And then a week later, still not losing any weight. Okay, let's go ahead and, are you sure you're accounting for everything? I gave you a caloric budget. Are you sure you're accounting for it?
Of course
everything
I am.
perfect,
Yes,
perfect. Of course
exactly.
I am. Okay, well, I got to take your word on it.
Yeah.
The end. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring your numbers down lower. So in other words, bringing your numbers down lower means dropping your calories more.
Sure.
You drop your calories down more, the person tends to say, okay, I'm motivated, you drop my calories, I'm ready to do this.
I should see results.
A week goes by and they're like, I've actually gained 2 pounds. What is going on with me?
Or what's wrong with this diet?
Or what's wrong with this diet?
You're
Or
doing something wrong.
How about this? I told you that I was sensitive to carbohydrates, but you, the coach, did not listen to me.
Yeah, you gave me more carbs.
I told you that 1,600 calories was too much for me.
Right.
I told you I can't eat that much.
Right.
These are things we're being told.
Right.
On a
Or this. I'm not getting enough calories. That's why I'm starving myself.
Yeah. Or yes.
Because the numbers you've given me, that means that I'm,
Now, with all that being said, I want to give some scenarios out, and I love these scenarios, and I don't choose to put these scenarios out for the I gotcha. No. I look at this so fascinating and so interesting because people when people lie to me and they eventually say like, okay, you got me. I use that as a database, okay, a very fascinating database that I wish more people knew about, okay, because I'm like, wow, I actually do understand why a lot of personal trainers, even when they know the evidence, even when they know the literature, they will eventually question themselves.
They question themselves. That's right. That's
Man,
right. What am I doing wrong?
I know what the book says.
Yeah.
I know what everything says, but maybe something is wrong with their thyroid.
Yeah, maybe they're the exception.
Maybe they are the exception.
Maybe they're the exception.
Maybe something is wrong with them hormonally.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
something of the food is lying. Maybe the food company, maybe there's something to the insulin failures of the sugar and the government. Okay, so now I want to give you some examples. So I use a few of my clients. So I had a client competitor one time, and I'm going to give about 4 examples, but these examples go on like a lot. Okay?
Yeah. That's
So,
what's special about it. Yeah.
I'm able to see these people personally. Okay, I see them 5 days a week training. We get to hang out on the weekends, form personal relationships with everybody. So I know everyone's moods too. I know how they act, how they visually look. I had a client one time that was getting ready for a bikini show, and I said, hey, I saw her Monday. You know, I said, hey, how did you do this weekend? You know, how did you do with your calories and everything? She goes, oh, I did good. I actually did. They always oversell whenever they're lying.
Yeah.
So she goes, actually, I even did better.
Did better than good.
Did better than good. Okay, did the bestest.
Yeah.
I even went over on my steps. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. Sounds good. I said, so if your calories are on point and everything? Oh, yeah, easy. Like, I didn't even hit my calories that much even on Sunday. And there's, you know, the funny thing is, they're not lying about that. They didn't hit their calories on Sunday. But then I say, oh, okay, so Saturday was good? Yeah, perfect. I said, what about the pizza at Dan's Pizza? And they go, who told you about that? Who told you about that pizza? And I was like, well, it's just so, you know, it's not like I'm ever looking to.
You're not trying to catch them.
It's just every now and then things get to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. But
or social media.
Yeah.
Social media.
She goes, who told you about that? I go, yeah, the pizza that you had. I said, and you had beers to go with it, correct? She was like, yes. I was like, it wasn't like light beers, it just no. I go, and you had the dessert afterwards. She goes, yes, okay. I totally messed up Saturday. But I tried to make up for it Sunday. Of course, at which point I said, it's okay, it's not a big deal. And I always said, I go, it's not a big deal. But in my head, and in my head, it's not that I'm thinking that, no, it is a big deal. But in my head, I'm like, wow, that's fascinating. That's fascinating because I asked her quite a few times, and she lied to me right then and there. If this was online and I was asking the same question,
absolutely,
she would have told me everything's perfect.
Right.
I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. And then I would have no choice but to be like,
what is it that I'm doing wrong?
What can be going wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what can be
So let me give you another example. This one, I love my
Well,
sister.
let me ask you this before you go on with that one. Body language, was that you mentioned some cues, like you oversell.
I do always know the body language.
The body language
is always the same.
is a tell.
It is.
It's a tell.
So,
but only and you know that because
I see
you
them.
have that.
I physically see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I physically ask them right then and there, and kind of almost catch them off guard, don't give them a chance a little bit.
Yeah.
So with my sister, and she knows I tell this story all the time. So my sister, I had asked her one time. I think this was on a Tuesday. I said, hey, how'd you do this weekend on the diet? She said, oh, I did good. Yeah, even better. She said like almost same words, even better than good. You know, I did extra steps, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, cool, okay. I said, what about the, I think it was one of those Monday holidays, like some kind of international, one of them. So she goes, I go, oh, what about the barbecue plate that you had yesterday with cake? And she goes, Eric, who told you about that? And she always makes that kind of face. That's my sister's face. She's like, Eric, who told you about that? And with the smirky stuff, and in my head, I'm like, well, it's our other sister. You know, but she wasn't trying to. She was like, oh yeah.
We were.
I was just hanging out. Yeah, I was just hanging out with Jennifer. We were eating. I was like, oh, was you eating barbecue? So she, yeah, I had cake. Oh, really? Okay. So, so now, of course, I told my sister, I go, it's okay, it's cool. You know, you did good for the rest of the week. You know, that's not a big deal. But again, in my brain, I put that again in that database of mine and say, wow, again, that was a very amazing scenario. Because had I been an online coach and been asking her the same thing, she's telling me something that's not there.
Accurate.
Yeah, it's not accurate.
Right.
Okay. So even some of my, I even had a trainer one time, and me and her are great friends. And I had asked her one time, I said, hey, how'd you do this weekend? And she goes, the second I see the eyebrows and the head
Or
lift,
it was good. The
Yeah,
voice
yeah,
goes
yeah,
up,
she goes-
right? The whole Seinfeld thing.
it was good. Even better than good. In my head, I go,
Here it
she's lying.
comes.
She's lying. I know she is. And so I go, how'd you do Saturday? She goes, it did good. Even better than good. Good. I go, how'd you do Saturday? She goes, good. I even saw in the second one that she was like, oh God, he sees me.
Yeah,
he sees it.
Yeah, if they were on a machine,
Yeah.
it would be like.
And then I asked her the third time, but this, of course,
It's kind of in joking.
Yeah, we're in joking.
It's in jest, right?
So then on the third time I go, how'd you do this Saturday? Okay, yeah, I messed up. I messed up a lot. Couldn't stop myself.
Yeah.
Okay,
Couldn't help it.
I get that. And of course, I always tell them the same thing. I say, well, hey, you know what? You did good for, you've been kicking ass last week. Now, to be honest, even these scenarios, I don't ask them. I don't dig too much into it. I go, well, you know what? You did good all week. But for all I know, maybe Thursday wasn't.
They didn't.
Yes.
That's right.
So, and trust me, I have so many more of these stories that I can
Because
tell.
it has. I mean,
It does happen, and I've been
Okay,
a
so
personal
let-
trainer for almost 16 years now.
Right.
Okay, so I get I know the body language.
So are we ready to move on as to why? Why do you think?
Okay, so this is something you can help me with.
Yeah.
Because this is what I personally think. Okay, this is what I personally think. A few different factors. I do feel sometimes whether it's a personal trainer that's been training for 5 to 10 years, whether it's a competitive bodybuilder that's done 1 show or 5 shows, or whether it's a new client that has never dieted or a client that has been yo-yo dieted. I think in my head that when you have done something very good 5 out of 7 days, and each day was like, oh, wow, that was tough for me. Like that was one successful day. Okay, they always have these men saying weekend splurges messing up your weight loss. Okay, I do understand how it could feel to go, like 4 days of completion and being like, man, like I kicked ass, that was rough, pat on my shoulder. And now I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't. I'm telling you how I think that they're thinking.
Okay.
It's like pat on my shoulder 4 days. On the 5th day, I kind of went over a little bit. It's not a big deal. We'll consider that part of the 5 days of perfect, but actually the 5th day wasn't perfect. They don't even realize, but they had made it already up to maintenance. But they did good in their eyes. They didn't overboard. And then Saturday, they tried to fast a little in the morning. They started grazing a little bit. These kind of things. And then Sunday they woke up, and then they had family in town, and then they even would overeat a little bit more than they typically would had it been 2 years prior before they even started dieting.
Right.
Exactly, when they weren't thinking about it. So that being said, I feel like they think like, no, you can't cancel out all that. I did so good. I gave it my all. No, I don't feel like I need to tell you because, man, in my eyes, I gave it 100%.
Yeah. I'm still in the black.
So I messed out like 1 day, but it was really 3 days out of that week.
Right.
And again, this is not me being the media. This is the reality of physiology
Weight loss. Yeah.
of weight loss.
Yeah,
This
that's
is the reality of weight
That's
loss.
right. It's a deficit throughout, and it's a deficit over time, right?
Yes.
And so if you're in a deficit 4 days a week,
Yes.
500 calories, and you go over 33,000 calories in a weekend, that does trump
Yes.
those 4 days.
Yes, and it could be right there. Okay, so 2 different things. First off, for fat loss per week, let's just say it kept you even. But for weight gain, it's going to fluctuate because of those cheat meals or
Right.
those over-calorie meals or whatever you want to call it.
Right,
Okay,
right.
you had a plan of action. You went over a lot more than once or twice a week.
Sure.
Weight is going to go up.
Sure.
Your fat actually did not decrease or increase. Let's just say is a stalemate, but the weight went up.
Right.
So, of course, in your mind, that's just pretty much body fat.
That's
And
right.
of course, with the look of sodium bloat, you're definitely
You
gained 10 pounds of fat.
That's right. That's right.
So I believe that is the main driver of why people. It's because they are putting forth their effort, and trust me, I understand the effort.
It's almost like a reward.
Yeah, well,
Like they say, well, I earned that.
kind of,
in
yes,
some way.
yes, because I can understand that for anything.
Well, that's more like a defense mechanism. Like they
Yes, yes.
probably know that they went outside that, but in order for them to deal with that, they say, well, I earned it.
Yeah.
Like that, I worked really hard, and so
Yes,
and that's
yes,
this whole
yes, yes,
mentality of the cheat meal, right?
And I can get that with other aspects, okay?
Right.
Because I know how shitty it is to go through a whole semester and of college. Okay, go through a whole semester, and man, school is not easy for me. Okay, so because I can even get B's, that took what I feel, and this is how they're feeling too. This is what I feel is more easier for everyone else, but it is not easy for me.
Mm.
So because this was so difficult for me just to maintain a B, I had to kill myself more
That's
than
a
you
W.
did. I don't care if you say it's hard for you to. No, it's really hard for me.
Yes.
All the way up until it's the last 3 weeks of the semester, and I get a couple of 20s and 1 0. And what does that do to your
Drops it
average?
to a D.
Yep.
Yep.
Even a barely a failing grade, and you're like, no, I know I spent all that time, all that sacrifice.
It's funny that you're using that example.
But I mean,
I get that all the time.
Yeah,
in
and
school.
it's like, sorry, yeah, I'm not the asshole that these grades. I mean, math is math. It
Right.
drops your average down.
Right.
That's the asshole
that's
of life.
how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how the system works.
And that's how
It's got to be throughout.
Yes.
Right. And you can't. You can. I'll get emails all the time from students. It's funny that you bring that in because at the end of the semester is when I hear from most of my students.
Mhm.
During the semester, they have a problem with their grade. That they let it go, but I hear about it at the end of the semester. I'm like, where were you at this point?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's beside the point. When we get to the end, they don't do well in the final, and part of it, the final's the biggest part of your grade. So
Yeah.
they can't get, well, I worked so hard. Like, they want their effort graded as opposed to their performance,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
In the result.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to grade
I
your
get you.
effort.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't grade your effort. Everybody.
I wish we could.
I wish we could.
Yeah.
I wish we could, but
These
it's
are
based,
grades.
It's based on the results.
Yes.
And so the results are numbered. They have a numeric value just like calories.
Mhm.
And if you don't meet the qualifications, it's going to affect your grade. If you don't meet the result or the what you're being asked to do in terms of calories, you're going to get a bad grade.
Mhm.
The results are going to show.
Yeah.
You're going to gain, or you're going to maintain, or you're not going to lose.
Yeah.
So that's the issue here. Absolutely, it's not about your performance throughout the week, and then at the end you bomb it. It's about what you bomb
Yes.
during that.
I want to give a perfect example of this. Is that okay? So I hang out with a bunch of friends that are not only clients, but I mean we're a tight family. We get to see each other all the time. Now, one thing is that when I leave this gym, I'm not here to be a food Nazi. I'm not here to sass you about this or that. Now, of course, obviously, we're like playing around.
You gotta tease
if
them.
anything, they're actually more teasing about themselves and me being there and stuff. But I've had people give me some very heart-filled talks, like, "Hey, Eric, we need to talk. We need to have a moment right quick." And I said, "Yes." I said, "Man, I really want to tackle this weight loss. Okay, I really want to tackle this weight loss." And I've had multiple clients tell me this before. And I said, "Okay, we have a good 45-minute talk. They say I want to start cleaning up my diet a little bit, not having to do this." And I'm like, okay. And then right afterwards, we go to the movies.
Mm.
Right next to me, they're literally grabbing the popcorn, pizza, regular Coke, and now of course I'm like, well, hey, what the hell?
What did
No.
you just spend an
I'm
hour?
also trying to have a good time too.
Yeah.
So,
Do your
but
thing.
I'm always like, okay, well, maybe after this, not a big deal. But I understand people's frustration sometimes because I hang out with a lot of people, and it seems like we're all doing the same thing. Yet somehow, Eric Lee, the guy who has a fast metabolism, which is not true, just seems to just shed body fat when he wants to, and he puts on a little bit of body fat when he wants to, almost like when it's time to bolt, Eric starts, like just snap of a finger.
You think it and it happens.
Now, this always reminds me of when I was a senior in high school. I was never I was never I never did my work in school. Okay, I wasn't gonna say I was never good at school, but I had my attention was on other stuff. Okay, so I remember one time in class, me and this guy right next to me, me and this other kid, we were friends. We used to cut up all the time in class, and teacher would always get after me. And after a couple months, one day I remember, and I was pretty comedic when I was in school, so I went up to the teacher. I said, "Hey," after everyone was leaving, I said, "Hey, how come you're always yelling at me and you're not yelling at him?" And then the teacher said, she looks at me and she goes, "Well, Eric, you're right. I do get after you, and I don't really get after him." I go, "Well, why you do that? Like, why you do that though?" You know, and she goes, and she said, "Well, the difference between y'all two is that y'all both cause disruption in the class, but he has turned in every single homework assignment. He studies when he gets home. He's passing my class with A's. He's actually even staying for the test." She goes, "You do none of that stuff." And then I remember kind of like laughing and kind of being like, not laughing hardcore, but just be like, "You got a point."
You make a lot of sense.
I can't be mad at you about that. I didn't think about it
I asked
that
the question,
way.
I got the answer.
Yeah, like wow, like yeah. I guess I wouldn't get mad at him either.
Yeah.
You know. So, but that's funny
That's a great
because
point.
it is because it seemed like we're doing the same thing. Because I'm like, we're both in class 5 days a week for the hour,
Yeah.
and
Both
yet,
knocking off.
yeah,
making people
having a good
laugh,
time.
Yeah, having fun.
But somehow he's not getting in trouble. I am. But behind the scenes,
Yeah.
when he goes home, he's getting work done.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I like joking around
It's
and
fun,
cutting
yeah,
off with
good
Eric,
time, but it's
now,
business.
but now I have to actually do my work. I
Yeah.
have to do my homework. I have to study. I have to pass tests and all this kind of stuff. And me at home, like, oh, time to get on my.
Assuming he's probably doing the same thing. As you're doing.
Yeah, but he's taking time out to do what's necessary.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So whenever I go out with people and we're sitting there at the restaurant theater, because that's what our big thing is here to do. We love to we love movies. And we love the theater movies where actually it's a restaurant. So over here they have Star Cinema Grill, some places have Studio Movie Grill, some places have Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
So whenever I get there, they had already ate breakfast for that day. They already had another meal. Usually, to be honest, I maybe have had a little bar, and then I'm just saving everything for that movie theater. Once we get there, I'm ordering a Diet Coke, while this person's ordering a Coke, and this person next to me is ordering a Coke. Now, this person and this person both ordered popcorn and another appetizer. They're both ordering appetizers
Nachos or
with very high calories.
Right.
I didn't order an appetizer. Okay, so then when my actual entree comes out, I'm getting a lesser of evil, a lower caloric food. Okay, so I'm either doing a blue steak cheese wrap with chips and salsa. Okay. The reason why I like the chips and salsa here is it's not a Mexican restaurant where they're going to keep reloading you. It's going to come with a serving size of it.
Yeah,
That's it. When you're done, you're done.
You're done.
So then after that, I don't get a dessert. These people are getting desserts. Okay.
And
So-
plus they've already eaten 2 meals prior to that.
Yes. And even before that, I made sure to hit my steps. So I always hit my step goals. I'm always in a caloric budget. Whenever I'm very loosely on the off season, and that's another talk. But my loosely on the off season is what I don't call it intuitive eating, as I don't really believe in intuitive eating. If you ever even dieted, you're no longer intuitive eating. What I call it is responsible eating, just like you would be responsible with your money throughout your life.
Sure.
So even in the off season, I just responsibly eat. So what I'm trying to say though is that we're working out the same, we're hanging out the same, we're eating at the same restaurants, we're eating at the same places, only we're not eating the same things. And I'm keeping that a budget.
And the background work is being done.
And the background work is being done, yes. So when this is done every single day, you know, I'm still in a deficit no matter how you look at it.
That's right.
They're still in a surplus no matter how you look at
That's
it.
right.
And when they're like, I don't understand, Eric, we all go out, we all drink, and I drink with them too.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're always drinking, we're always eating, we're
It's
always
genetic.
working out.
Yeah, it's gotta be
You're getting the
genetic,
results and I'm
it's gotta
not.
be- Yeah.
No. I'm keeping track of everything that I'm doing. And everyone here in the gym knows me. And actually, even on Facebook, as flexible as I am, they know that I'm not super meticulous, but when it comes to staying in a simple caloric range. Okay, so even my coach James Krieger has a lady. I mean, he'll get my stats and it'll say percentages. How much percentage? How were you this week on calories? Every single week, I'm at about 95%.
Which means you're hitting them almost perfectly.
Almost perfectly.
100% we're hitting them perfectly.
Yep.
So
how are you doing on your the macros that I gave you? 75. Yeah, every week. So that just goes to tell you I'm not that anal about it.
Right.
I don't get. He knows that a lot of it's done with alcohol.
Yeah.
And yes, I know some of the negative effects it can have with protein synthesis. This is my life.
Yeah.
I have a good time doing it.
You're not suffering through the
Yeah, exactly. So, and because I also wanted to bring that point up too, because some people were like, well, it sure sounds like you're meticulous. I mean, if you've been on a calorie perfectly, but no, because when most people are given their macros, they won't mess up on their macros whatsoever. Okay, nothing. And they especially wouldn't substitute with beer. Beer is something that I enjoy. Okay. So, like I said, there's always, it's not the great genetics. There's always something going on behind the scenes that you're not aware of, that you do not see, that you do not realize. Right. And at the same time, what you don't realize is that a lot of times you are underreporting. Okay, sometimes you are lying. Okay, I know that sounds like such a negative thing, but I mean you are sometimes.
Well, I mean,
it's not a bad thing to say. I don't think it's a bad thing to say.
No,
you are.
No. I think part of that is there's a concept in psychology, and I don't recall the name of it right off the top of my head, but it is where you want to present yourself to somebody that you value their opinion to.
Yes.
So it's more about, sometimes it's about, I don't want to tell him I messed up because it will let him down, or even though it won't, you could, you're like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because you've always told me that, like, when I've come in and I said, yeah, man, I went over.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, let's keep on moving.
Mm-hmm.
But still, there is that, that wanting to be seen in the most positive light.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of the reason why some people will lie to their trainers, because they're spending energy on them and they don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just they over-report those steps as well. Right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. But no, I think that's one of the biggest things in terms of that relationship.
So I'm going to the steps. I haven't done this in a long time, but I used to do this even. I used to do this even for some self data to myself, and sometimes it would help. It would help them really realize. But I haven't done this actually. I haven't done this in a while. But you brought it up with steps. The reason why, okay, so they over-report on activity. So I've sat there before and said, hey, well, how's your? Because I might give somebody 8,000 steps to do. And I say, well, how are your steps? They go, man, I hit perfect. I did my steps perfect. I even did one day, like 2 days, I did like 16,000. Another day, I did 13,000, and I believe them. Okay, on the high days. Now I say, okay, let me see your watch. So then they say, oh, okay. So they give me their watch or they give me their phone, and then what I'll quickly do is that whatever day we happen to be on, I'm gonna go 7 days back. I'm gonna count. I'm gonna add 7 days and divide by 7.
Sure.
Ooh man, it is a big awakening for them. Okay, there's a hashtag get woke as far as activity. It is whenever they actually look at it, and they were supposed to be at 8K, and according to them, they're actually more like at 12K. This is what this thing is saying. They're like, well, actually, I'm probably more like at 12K. Okay, when they're at 8K. Well, according to here, it says you're at 5.7, and they're like, wow, it's such a, like when they actually look at it, yeah, and they're just like,
what?
And then you could see it processing in their head like, he's actually right, like he's right.
Yeah,
like,
you can't.
Because there's a lot of like low and then they end up saying afterwards like, yeah, there were a lot of those days, yeah, that I was under. Come to think about it, but yeah, I may have had a couple, but those didn't make up for this. Yeah. And even though you had me at 8K, I'm averaging 5.7K. So of course, even when I'm at the 8K, if this was going on through a computer and an email, these things you do not know. You're thinking, this is why I get, and I'm gonna keep going back to the beginning. This is why you think, even in the face of you being what we call our evidence-based community, meaning that a lot of the stuff we do has an evidence-based approach about it, it will still start messing with your brain.
Yeah.
It will start bringing you back to be like, okay.
There are these individual differences, right? Or everybody's different.
Yes, claiming the impossible, as James Krieger says. Claiming the impossible. So it's almost like saying, I know I can't fly. I know we cannot fly as humans. I get that. Okay, haha, I get that. But I swear Saturday night I was levitating.
Yeah.
Briefly, I was levitating. You gotta believe me. I know we can't fly, but I was hovering for just floating, if you will. I think I know I was floating. You have to believe me. Right. You have to believe an impossible statement. Okay, so that's what people are saying, and I want to give one more example. I had one of my trainers' clients come up to me and say, "Hey," and this was a while back. And this is I don't even have nothing to worry about this trainer. This trainer's been with me for so long. She's so good, so smart. But the client says, like, I'm telling you, Eric, like, she has me on too many calories. I'm not losing any weight. I just need to do a sit down. I said, yeah, not a problem. Of course. Because all I knew that I was going to do is just show her where she is. Now, this one is not so much lying per se. It's just they just don't understand what they're doing wrong. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and show her. Okay.
Yeah.
So she says that she is getting. Okay, so she says, okay, well, the trainer has me at X amount of steps and X amount of calories. I'm doing way beyond that many steps, and a lot of times I don't even eat. Okay, which in my ears I already know this is all completely wrong and incorrect. Okay, that's part of the claiming impossible kind of thing. So you're the anomaly. So I say, okay. I said, let me see your phone, and then I go back 14 days and I run these numbers twice.
Is that how she checks her numbers through her phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
It syncs up.
Okay.
It syncs up.
It's a sync from a watch. Okay.
So I sat her here, right, and I wrote it all on paper. I said, okay, this was last week. This was this week. You say that you're doing about 2,000 steps, 2,000 to 3,000 steps over what she recommended. Results show you are the So
you are.
Yeah. So on both weeks, it showed that she was about 3,000 steps less.
Daily?
Yes, on both weeks. Okay, because I wanted her to know that this is not just a 1 week fluke. This happened 2 weeks. So obviously it happened 2 weeks. Happened more. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. I said, okay, so before we even get to the calories part, right now you told me that that your steps were okay. So we try to create.
That's what you want.
Yeah, you said your steps were way up here. Okay, we just now established that not only are they not where you thought they were, they're not even what your trainer thought they were.
Right.
They're actually down here.
That's right.
Okay, so let's get that out of the way right now.
Right.
Now let's take a
That's
look
one
at your
thing. Right.
now let's take a look at your calories. So I was talking about the weekend, okay, and she was like, I did good on the weekend, and this was one of those times where she was just like, I mean, yeah, I had a burger. I go, and you had a burger with the fries. I mean, yeah, well, of course the fries.
Have a burger without
Yeah,
fries?
she was like, well, of course the fries came with it. I go, well, that's the day that you actually told me that you ate nothing. That you were supposedly fasted the entire day. She goes, well, I mean, I ate that. Okay, I said, okay. And you drank that night? And she kind of like jokingly, she's like, well, of course I drank that night. I went out that night. Well, okay, well, we're missing these calories.
Awesome.
Now, the funny thing about burgers and fries and pizza and burritos and these kind of things is that they're very high in fat. Okay, fat is already more than double the calories of a carb and protein.
Yeah.
So you're going to double the amount right there. So it's easy to go over, okay?
Right.
Now, of course, she's drinking wine. Wine has way more calories than a low-calorie drink. She said she had maybe like 8 glasses of wine. And, in my head, I'm like, shit, I just kidding. But I was just like, well, there you go right there. So the next day,
She had a bottle of wine.
Sunday was the day that she actually cheated. Okay? Yeah, she wasn't even considering
She's
that.
fasted that day.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Sunday.
Yes. Okay. So Sunday was the day. Like, okay, well, yeah, I had a big pancake.
We had brunch,
Yeah.
Pancake
With
breakfast.
me and the girls, blah blah blah. She was like, that was my really only cheat day because Eric, like the day before, I didn't even eat besides the burger and fries.
And the wine.
But she has to keep saying that. Like, I didn't even eat on Saturday except for the burgers and fries.
Yeah.
Doesn't even say wine anymore.
Yeah. The wine. Yeah,
But they're there.
Yeah.
So when I really started breaking that down, I look at her calories and I go, "What about that Tuesday? Tuesday, you went like way over." She's like, "Well, yeah, okay, I went over on Tuesday, but that was way early in the week. And when it's that early in the week, it doesn't count anymore, you know." So I showed her that I said, okay, so your calories, she has you at 1550 on calories. You're claiming that you're only eating like this little, but you're actually not even eating 15. You're actually eating a lot more. Okay, so you're more in the 2,000 calorie range. You're not that big of a person, of a human. She's a real short girl. I said your calories. You claim that they're way above. You're not even meeting her steps. You're actually below. So now you can see why you're not gaining or losing. You're probably at a maintenance.
Right.
And when I broke it down that way, she was like. And of course she was a smarty pants little bit. She goes, okay, I see it now. You proved your point.
Right. You win.
You win.
Yeah. I lose.
Okay. So then what do I gotta do now? I go, just follow her stuff. That is the actual progression.
That was it.
A lot of people don't realize that the appropriate progression is not necessarily, hey, I think you need to drop my numbers. I think you need to raise my steps. It's actually just like, hey, let me actually try to hit these, and that is already a big progression than what you're already doing.
That's right.
And if it is happening so bad, then maybe you can even say, hey, you know what? Let me give you a little bit more calories, and even me giving you a little bit more calories than I had originally recommended, total per 7 days is already going to be less than technically what you were eating per week.
Sure.
So out of 50 years of the most scientific research that we have developed and the smartest minds ever, still with all the greatest technology, newest skills in 2019 going into 2020, the number one reason that you are not losing weight is still underreporting food and over-reporting activity. Out of all the technologies and the sciences that we have, that is still the number one reason why people aren't losing weight. And that is the mind flow. And now y'all just got flowed. So I think that was some good takeaways on things that I don't hear a lot of podcasts talk about these kind of things.
Yeah.
I hear the same things over and over again. So I really believe that this stuff should have been already been talked about a lot.
But I'm glad we did.
I'm glad we did. The only people I sometimes hear just touch up on these a little bit is sometimes Lyle McDonald. Helms sometimes touches up on these, but I don't think they ever talk in depth of actually being there and physically seeing the person on a daily basis.
And that comes with
many
experience
times.
and time and being able to have that relationship with them.
Yes.
Well, great.
All right, guys. Until the next one, which I hopefully will get done.
If you have any ideas, any things you want us to talk about,
drop in the comments.
drop it in the comments.
All right, guys. Peace.